welcome to the inaugural episode of Chat and Craft with Rissa. I'm your host, Rissa. And yes, I also like my overlay. Dr. Husband suggested the knit texture as the background, and I thought that was cute. So, I'm excited. So, this show is going to be real chill. It's just going to be us talking for a little bit. In the future, I'm going to also it's not always going to be Ariana on with me. Sometimes it'll be someone else. But what we're basically going to do is we're just going to talk a little bit about what craft we're working on right now, and then, talk about other stuff as well. So, sister,
okay.
What craft are you working on right now?
So, ADHD Ariana's in charge lately.
Okay.
So I think it's gonna be a sock.
Okay.
I'm crocheting it.
Okay. What yarn are you using?
Old yarn.
Old yarn. Yep. Actually, okay, that reminds me. So
Found
today
in my bedroom at our parents' house from before I started dating Fiance Meister.
Beautiful. Let me find my other yarn. Okay. So I was at a fiber meetup today of people who were like crocheting and spinning and stuff. And one woman was saying that she's been working on a project. It's like a scarf, I think she said, or a shawl, where she's every time she gets bored, she changes yarn. And then she changes stitches. So literally, I was like, this is the perfect thing for ADHD, for when you're doing a project and you can't like focus, you get to that part of the project where you just can't care about it anymore. And so you just like put it to the side. No, you know what you can do? You can just change yarns. And then you get to see kind of whatchamacallit? What comes out of it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm currently working on a sweater. I'm working on a top-down raglan, which is, once I show it to you, y'all will understand what a raglan is. And you'll be like, oh, a raglan. So this, you can see it's the kind that, like, the shoulders are, like, diagonal. Something where you usually see is, like, a baseball tee or something. I know nothing about knitting, but are socks hard? I'm reading this cozy mystery series about knitters, and they joke about socks being hard, so I can't tell. I would say that they aren't hard to do, but they are hard to finish. You get to Sock Island is what it's called, where you finish one sock, and then you're like, do I even want to do that again? Sock Island.
I don't know, because I'm crocheting it, not knitting.
There's that too.
And also, I'm Ariana, so I don't follow patterns. I create them. And so I've tried to do this before, and I gave up, and I completely I defrogged it, and I fucking so I've done this before. I got to the heel, and I was doing it fine, but then I went, I'm bored, and I just stopped.
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
This yarn is, I'm just getting to my last skein, but I only have the arms and the ribbing left to do, so I think I can do it. I'm using this Eddie Bauer Woolpaca, so it's 80% merino wool, and then 20% alpaca, but it's not like that baby alpaca, really soft stuff. It's what's called, I think it's more like they're called like seconds, which is like the second pass, basically. It's the slightly rougher stuff, but it's still really soft. And I got it on major sale, because this is a Joanne exclusive. I'm realizing that you aren't as loud for them.
Oh,
as I am.
whoops.
No, it's not your fault. It's my fault. I had to turn down.
Keep
But
saying whoops.
it's a Joanne exclusive. So people, if you're ever interested, it's technically $9.99 a skein. However, I have never bought it for more expensive than $7.
Uh, okay.
And this time I got it $6 a skein. So I grabbed 4 skeins. And now I'm making a sweater. And you may be asking, Risa, have you ever crocheted a sweater before? No. Risa, have you ever done a raglan before? No. Well, Risa, then are you at least using a pattern? Absolutely not. Why would I use a pattern?
Don't be
Um,
silly.
don't be
Hypothetical
silly.
chat.
Exactly. But I am using a tiny ass hook. I'm using an F, which is a 3.75 millimeter. Because the yarn itself is a 3 weight, so it's DK. It's the other name for it. Um, it is thinner than your like if you were gonna go and get a yarn like Red Heart or like what Ariana's using. Which, to be honest, it's probably Karen Simply Soft
Probably.
because that's
Honestly.
just what we used to buy all the time.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
I know I got it from Michael's. I can tell
yeah,
you that much.
yeah. That's because the Michaels in San Diego all still have yarn in them. For some reason, the Michaels here,
I don't know if they still do.
yeah, that's, you know, at the time when you bought it, the Michaels here barely has any yarn, so I have to go to Joanne.
Mm, but that's for fabric.
I know, to me, that's my thought too. But no, it's
There
not
is
just for
a
fabric.
craft store. Actually, there's a couple of craft stores. Technically, there's an art store, which I'm sure would probably have this kind of stuff, and then there's also a craft store, literally like a block down from that. Um, but the craft store really reminds me of Michael's in certain ways, and so I'm like, I'm sure I could find some good uh yarn there if I left my house.
Yeah, but like then
Which
you'd have to
I
leave your
don't.
house.
Yeah.
I know that, like, what I love about most of the places around here is they still do curbside and free curbside. So I appreciate that because, it's very useful.
Yeah.
But there's an independent yarn store and fiber store. It's not just yarn. Um, because I've gotten, you know, fiber to spin there as well. Um, and everything there is so lovely, but so expensive. Just so expensive. And I go in there and I have let myself buy things that are on sale. And that's it. Because holy shit, like we're talking $30 for a single skein of yarn. That's not even like a huge skein. I'm talking like 200 yards. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's nuts. Is it gold?
No. I mean, it's merino, 100% merino, but like,
That's funny.
whatever. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's so expensive. And I understand is that most of these places are like indie
Oh yeah.
dyers and stuff like that, but not all of them are. Not all of them. So I'm like, what excuse do you have? Store that, like, brand that has far more people doing it. Like, when you have only like 2 or 3 people who work for you,
Mm-hmm.
and like you guys are spending so much time on each thing, like, I get that. Like, you need to charge what your time is worth. But oh my god, I'm going insane over some of this stuff. Oh,
Supermarket
I
simulator.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I Supermarket Simulator as a game makes me laugh just because as someone who used to work in retail, it makes me laugh. But then it just makes me go, you know what I would love to do? Is I would love to do an in-depth daycare simulator.
That's funny. That would be fun, actually.
Because I know that they
Um,
have daycare simulators, but not the kind of in-depth shit that I have like knowledge of. Like you have to have certain amount of space per each child. You have to figure
yeah.
out ratios per age group. You have to like I have too much knowledge in here about that stuff.
Oh, you have too many students. You need to hire another teacher.
Yep.
Um,
You're over
um,
ratio. Be careful,
yeah.
someone might tip off licensing.
Somebody who fiance Meister watches her streams, not because he enjoys her, but because she's one of the few people who streams Wandering Village, and um he likes to feel superior to her as well because she's terrible at it. But um she recently had a VOD up that was call center simulator,
Oh, I see.
and I was like, well,
You're like, I feel a little attacked by
I
that.
do. I was like, what the shit, man? My life is a joke to you?
Yes.
And there's also card game
Yep, that's
shop.
what Dr.
Yeah.
Ray Ray is just talking about
Oh,
in
really?
chat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
TCG. And the cards that they sell and the game that's in it are going to be made real.
that's
Which
so
is funny
funny.
because they're all of the cards are like
They look
mock.
like Pokemon
They're
cards.
like they're like Pokemon mixed with some Digimon,
Okay.
and like named similarly, and it's fun.
It is fun.
I've watched Ray Navarro Jr. play it, and he's one of the ones who is just terrible to watch because part of what you can do
Hmm.
is you can open the packs and
Oh no.
create your own bundles, and you can sell individual cards that are worth a lot more. Um, and
Yarn
so
barf.
unfortunately, it really it hits that spot for the like gambling. I gotta find that card. I gotta find the Pokemon card because he doesn't do that anymore. He doesn't do Pokemon cards anymore because his wife pointed out how much money he was spending on them. He was like, "Oh no, well then fuck that, cold turkey." And then now he just does it in TCG Simulator. Um,
Amazing.
yeah,
I just had to pull out some yarn barf to get to the center pull.
yarf,
Yes, yarf. Yarn
yeah,
barf.
yarf.
It's worth the yarn barf is worth it because it means that I can just use it center pull because I hate doing yarn from the outside.
Yeah, I try my best not to do that. Usually, I end up doing that just because I get tired of looking for the inside. Uh,
Yeah, that's so valid.
but that's because when I go to like crochet or something, I am usually just needing to do the thing, and I
Yes,
don't want to keep doing the prep for it.
that's valid. Um, However, I am at the place where the prep for it is part of the craft. Mm,
TikTok that opens Pokemon cards, he has a jingle that goes, "Should I open or should I keep it sealed?"
no, I don't do TikTok. Krolmeister sisters in general are anti TikTok.
Yeah.
Um, for me, it's mostly just because I know that if I was on TikTok, I would just watch it for too long. It's
Additionally, just the the nature of the app in general, just not great.
yeah. I just it's like Facebook in that way of how
Mhm.
it just the algorithm is tuned to just doing things to get you upset because you're more likely to engage with things when you are upset. Do you guys think I'm going to be able to finish this with one skein left? I think so. I think I'll be able to do it. I think this is gonna be enough yarn.
Maybe. I won't commit to anything.
I see how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was,
I don't need you coming at me going, you were wrong.
don't worry about it. One of the things I did today though was, like I said earlier, I went to a meetup, and at that meetup they were selling fiber stuff, and one of the members of the group has alpaca and sheep, and so she was selling some stuff, and she had some alpaca that she has been, apparently no one has bought it. It's an entire pound, and so I bought it for $30 for an entire pound of alpaca fiber. And alpaca is a light, so it's very
Yeah.
very, you know,
It's fluff.
for the volume. It is mass. Oh, so this, I have this bag. It's bigger than my head. This bag of fiber that I'm gonna spin up. It's this beautiful brown, like chocolate brown color. Um, and it is the alpaca seconds, so it's not the super super soft stuff, but I don't need the super super soft stuff because I'm planning on spinning it on my electric wheel. Um, so I kind of want it to be a little less slippy. Um, because you know, it can be very very easy to have it come out too fast and then you're constantly breaking it. Drives me insane. So Risa, you mean you have another craft that you do? Yes.
What? That's
What?
crazy talk.
So what crafts have you been enjoying recently, sister?
Pretty much crocheting. I um I got some knitting needles finally for the first time in like a
Okay.
decade.
Yeah.
Um and I was hoping to knit a pattern. Um Plum forgot that I would probably need the circular knitting stuff. So that went out with the trash. Not literally, but just in my brain wise.
Yeah.
And so I've got this lovely uh bamboo yarn.
Ooh.
And I can't seem to use it because every time I try to use it, um my fingers give up because it's too difficult for me to like
Yeah.
really work with, and I can't like keep a good consistent
Tension.
tension in it, and it's just like, oh
Yeah.
my god. So I've been just doing little things and then undoing them and then doing them. I have a half finished um crocheted elephant.
Ooh.
It's just the legs currently,
Yeah.
and a bit of the ass. Uh, but it's made out of this nice purple yarn and like this multicolored purple yarn as well. Um, and I love it, and I really enjoyed like figuring out how to get. I got I basically I made structured uh feet
Oh, okay.
so that and it's just hot glue and it's silly, but at the same time I'm like and I use like pill bottles in order to like get them the right like consistency and everything, and yeah. So that's, I guess I'm gonna just work on that until I eventually have children.
Just that
And then
one?
eventually I'll be like, oh, I guess I should finish this for you, huh?
Yeah. I am getting through this sleeve.
You're
Doing
doing it,
it.
sister.
Just for. I was really hoping to make this a 7-day sweater, but I'm not going to finish it tonight, so. I started it
Seventh
last
day
Sunday.
Adventist.
No, 7-day sweater. I don't know
Hmm.
if that's an actual thing that people do, but I was like setting it as a challenge for myself.
Yeah.
But then I had to
If
ugh,
you
have
if you
homework.
set it, then that makes it a thing. Okay, I think I can just do a few more stitches on the toe, and then I'm gonna switch over to my fluffy yarn,
Yay! Fluffy
which is
yarn.
black and blue. Because this
Ooh.
yarn, I'm sure you can't tell because it's really, really dark, but it
Yeah.
is a dark navy blue, and then this
Oh.
is black and bright blue.
Oh.
Um, Alternatingly. And so it's going to be fun and hopefully it'll be a nice fuzzy sock. I think I might be making it for Fiance Meister because recently, now he has his own socks, but he's
Yes.
been stealing mine because he likes how tight they are on his feet.
Okay.
So I'm trying to, I'm gonna base this on my sizes, and that way it'll be nice and tight on him.
So yesterday at work, um, for people who don't know, I one herniated a disc. So
Yay!
one of my the yeah, I herniated a disc. And then I also at the same time dislocated a joint that's very very hard to dislocate. The SI joint, the sacroiliac joint, which is, something that I've had happen. So I was in the hospital for a few days because of it, and I've only gone back to work like barely. And the days I do go to work, I'm there for not very long, or I'm just like out of the actual room. Well, one of the moms yesterday, she was dropping her daughter off, and she was like, "Oh, Risa, are you feeling better?" And I was like, "Not really, but I'm here." And she goes, "Oh, you're such a trooper." And I was like, I'm a trooper." Um, because and for again, those who don't know, that is a
Krolmeister
phrase.
lore.
That is a phrase that makes me so angry
Yeah.
because of how many times that like we were told um as like children and teenagers when we were pushing through things or we were overworking ourselves for something, people would be like, "Oh, thanks so much, you're a trooper." And
Yeah.
so that phrase specifically has burned into my soul as just
Yeah.
um yeah, and she was like, "You just need to be resilient like Miss Risa." She was
No.
talking to her 5-month-old daughter. She was saying that, and I was like,
Jesus
mm-hmm.
Christ.
Which, like, I understand what she was actually trying to say. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I do get it. But as someone who's then had that said to me so many times, I'm like,
Mm-mm.
no, thank you.
You are
Oh, thank you.
setting a bad
Precedent.
precedent.
Just, you should not, in fact, be overworking yourself to the point where you're still going to work or still turning homework in when you are in a level 9 pain. But I got 100% on it, so just saying. Um,
That's
but
good. Sorry. Delayed
I
response.
I literally wrote a poem once about the phrase "you're a trooper." I think I can find it pretty easily, and I can do a spoken word for you guys.
Ooh wee. Ooh, that should be part of the craft thing, you know? Chats and craft is some of it's poetry, you know?
Yeah,
I see that working.
actually, I have done. I've been so like incapacitated in the last few months that like I've done so much crafting because of it. So my crafting
It's honed.
is well the Tumblr I have for all of that is
Oh.
full. It's got lots of stuff.
Since we have officially evacuated vacated, as what I was trying to say, vacated and evacuated at the same time, and it just came out vacuated.
I noticed.
So since we have vacuated,
Gonna go with it.
X,
It's
I'm
intentional.
gonna go with it. I'm sticking with it now. See, I do commit to some things, and they're usually stupidity. Um, I've found myself going slowly back to the Tumblr space, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is good stuff.
I never left. So get ready for spoken word. You're a trooper, I was told, with bloodied bandages and dislocated bones. It was a compliment, not for the achievement, but more of a thank you for the concealment. The dandelion's a symbol of resilience. It grows even in the harshest of conditions. It survives between cracks in concrete, still growing, still green. I bend, I don't break, not out of choice, but of necessity, pushed to extremes, both physically and mentally, but applauded for achievements, both scholastically and medically. Compliments given, support's not yet gone, but still there's an air of can't we just move on? Everything wrapped in a neat, tidy bow. Isn't it amazing where dandelions can grow? But how much greener would a dandelion be if it could grow somewhere free? How much would a dandelion thrive if it wasn't commended on just being alive?
Yo,
So that's that on it's because so that poem came because I was on vacation in Canada last December, and we went to a couple museums, and two museums in completely separate cities had exhibits about resilience. And it made me so mad because I feel like resilience has become the term, the word people are using now instead of inspiring when talking about things. So a lot of these things were a lot of like, they went through so much shit and look at how resilient they were. And it's like, yeah, okay, but what if maybe they hadn't gone through that shit? Maybe we should focus instead on the conditions that created that shit for them instead of applauding them on just like surviving it. But I understand that a lot of people who've gone through that kind of situation can find a lot of just they can find comfort in that, the concept of resilience, and go thinking about how they made it through everything. And I get that, but I feel like as someone who's just been going through it for my entire life, like I just want to maybe not have to be resilient. Wouldn't that be nice?
right? Wouldn't that be swell?
Wouldn't it be great?
Yeah, I noticed an uptick in resilience when it really like during pandemic.
Yeah.
Everybody really started on the resilience train, at least up here.
Yeah.
Um, like I can definitely speak to that for sure. It was a lot of, oh, how are we being resilient this week? And then like it's branched out to like the disabled community and stuff like that
Yeah.
because it was like, see, if they can do it.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's the new inspiring,
Yeah.
which is inspiration porn has been a thing for so long. And people then
I
was
direct your
like,
attention to the miracle worker.
oh my god. Just so many things. But especially thinking about like sorry, it drives me insane that we started calling out inspiration porn. We started calling it out for what it is. And so people latched onto the word inspiring as the bad part of it. So now we've moved on from inspiring to other things, like resilient. Um,
You know, it is inspiring how resilient these able-bodied, neurotypical people can be.
I'm inspired every day at how neurotypical able-bodied people can just like they can get through life without letting their able-bodiedness, without letting their ability get in their way. Like
Without
it's
letting
not
it
stopping
define
them.
them. Yeah,
Yeah.
like they can definitely, try to sympathize with the people who they don't understand because instead of actually trying to understand what's going on and trying to understand what put them there, they're inspired by their ability to just go.
Yeah, I'm just, and then you see people who, these able-bodied people, they're doing, they're using pot holders to take hot pans out of the oven. And it's like, if you just keep doing that, then you're never going to build up what you need to do to be able to just hold a hot pan in your hands.
Yeah.
Like, so sad to see it when they just give up on that.
You know?
So, yeah. Uh, oh my
That's
gosh.
how we feel about that.
Yeah. I was at the fiber meeting, right? I was wearing my ring splints because when I'm doing fiber crafts, I try to wear my ring splints. But of course, person there goes, I have to ask, what's with all the rings? And I'm thinking, you didn't have to ask, actually. You didn't have to ask at all.
You didn't.
So I did what I
It was
what
a
I
choice
usually
you
do.
made.
I mean, like sometimes I will be like, yeah, they're just, they're cool. I try to downplay it, kind of a deal. I don't want to have to get
Mhm.
into it. But at that point, I was sitting there. I was already in a lot of pain. The chairs there were really shitty. I'm like still not doing great pain wise. And so I was just like, I have a genetic connective tissue disorder. And then I did I wear these so that my fingers don't do this. And I know that this grosses people out. So I was just, and the
Yeah.
look on his face told me I was correct. And he was grossed out by it. And it's like, that's what you
Hey,
get.
man.
You just had to ask.
You had to ask, so I have to show you.
Yeah. Just, explaining to people.
Yeah. When I went in for training for my
Hmm.
job, um, I I had my ring splints with me and I started putting them on for and my boss who is quite a bit younger than me, but she was just like, "I have to ask, do those help?" I was like, "Okay, this isn't like just every day." I was like, I have to explain. And I just went, "All right, kid, listen up. Um, because you're gonna be my boss, so you have to understand that there's shit wrong with me." And I just laid down. I was like, "Look, like my fingers will dislocate and they will just seize up and I will be useless. And you don't want me useless when my entire job is typing."
Pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah. It's so funny though. So the center where I'm working right now, um, we had a student staff member last year who was in the room who has EDS, um, and I knew that she was in there. The office manager has EDS. I have EDS. The center director's daughter has EDS. And then we just had a lab, and then there was another student staff member who also graduated last year with EDS. So that's five. And then I was talking about my uh, I was talking about it again on Wednesday, and the lab student we had in that day goes, "Are you talking about Ehlers-Danlos syndrome? My sister just got diagnosed, and they're gonna evaluate me because I can do this." I was like, "Yeah, yeah,
You might have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome.
yeah." So funny. I'm just like, how is it that a center that doesn't employ that many people, really?
Yeah.
How do we have so many? It's wild.
Evaluation complete.
I mean, the amount of people who have like asked me if I think they have EDS is too great of a number.
Like, I don't actually have a degree in this. You know that, right? I'm not actually a practicing doctor.
I'm not a rheumatologist, actually, so I know, shocking, completely shocking. Um, but yeah, I think my favorite person who asked me about it was actually a physical therapist I had. One of my physical therapists in Denver. He was just asking me about it, and if I thought that he maybe had it.
And did he?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not a rheumatologist. I can't do that. I'm not allowed to diagnose people. I let
Right.
him borrow my book though. Living Life to the Fullest with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It's it's a step-by-step like physical therapy um guide for people with EDS, but it does not work with me. Meanwhile, my mother with arthritic knees at age 9, like, fuck y'all and your range of motion.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Every time I go into physical therapy, they're always like, okay, well, we need to measure your, like, our evaluations. We need to measure your range of motion. I'm like, do you, though?
Do you?
Do you?
Can you just not? That'd be special.
Yeah. Just makes me think of the appointment where I was diagnosed.
Yeah. I think of that frequently.
Yeah. I ask, like, okay, can you touch your toes? And I go and I put my hands flat on the floor. Okay, now can you bend backwards? And I start bending backwards, and I'm still going backwards. And I'm like, is this enough? And he's like, yeah, you're good.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can stop. I was just
you can stop. You can stop there.
like, buddy. God, that was so funny. That entire appointment was just an episode out of a sitcom. That poor resident with the doctor. The doctor was
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, her skin very velvety. Come, feel her skin." And he was like, "I'm like, just do it.
Just do
It'll
it, man.
end faster if you just go. We'll be done faster if you
Just go with it,
just
man.
go with it." Oof, oof, ouch, my bones.
Oh,
You good?
yep. Just popping my thumbs.
Yeah. For the connective tissue disorder that we have, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, one of the whatchamacallits. I keep trying to think qualifier, but that's not it.
Symptoms.
No. One of the diagnostic criteria
There you go.
is having velvety skin. So on the back of the hand is where they touch it, and they just kind of like caress the back of your hand. And it's very weird. It's incredibly weird. Um, but it's in the diagnostic criteria. So they also ask you to just do a bunch of weird range of motion stuff.
All right, now pull your thumb backward. Okay.
Pull your pinky backward. Okay, now how far can you extend your elbows?
How about your knees?
Yep. I have a 9 out of 9 on the Baton scale, baby.
Give me a thumbs up.
Thumbs up, yeah. That's how thumbs should work, right?
Very difficult to do
Yeah.
this.
Thumbs
Ow.
up.
Ow.
Thumbs
Ow.
up. I know. So, yes, in my doctor's defense, but also Ariana's correct, that doctor was very weird and did end up fleeing the country. Do you remember that?
No, I forgot that.
I got a letter in the mail one day that it was just like, your doctor unexpectedly left the country and you're going to have to find a new one.
Oh, that tracks.
Yeah, that was really funny to me.
That man was like a Joel Grey character.
And he just was so oof.
He
No.
was, yeah.
But yes. And then I always in my appointments places, they always have medical students come in and do things with me too.
Yeah,
Because it's like, I'm a great learning experience.
for sure.
That's what I've been told. I'm a learning experience. I'm like, wow, can I put that on my CV?
And here I thought I was a patient.
Yeah, I know. And then it comes to a point where I was picking up an order from Sally Beauty, and they were training a new person on like everything, and they were like, "Do you mind if we, use your transaction to show her how pickup orders work?" And I was like, "Be my guest." That's just
That's the way my life works.
that's
Why
just how
not?
it is. That's just the way the cookie crumbles and all that jazz. Okay, let's see the progress on our respective crafts. You're like, I have changed yarn. Okay, sleeve is happening.
Look at that sleeve.
Sleeve is
Look at that
happening.
sleeve.
It's nowhere near long enough because my arms are freakishly long. How about you, sister?
I got just beyond the toe.
Woohoo! Ooh, I can see the blue now.
Yay. Yeah, it's real nice. It catches the light when you're in the right
I
one.
just I just realized the sweater I'm making is the same color as the shirt I'm wearing. Yeah. When I was showing some friends the sweater's progress when it was still, basically a
In its
breastplate.
infancy.
And one of them goes, she was like, "That color is so Rissa coded." And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, what gave you that idea with the, you know, it's
With your
Rissa.
everything.
The sweater looks a bit lighter. Yeah."
I love the color. Got it all over the place.
Yeah. We have colors that are our colors, and it is what it is. Oof.
In our first few, well, I mean, yeah, so they've branched out since moving up here, but in our first several apartments, they were just blue because it's what fiance Meister finds most pleasant to his eyes. And so then he realized we had similar blue floor mats in the bathroom and blue towels, two sets, different towels, the same blue. Our bed sheets, our
Yep.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, most of our stuff is white or blue. Or green. We have some green
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Um, some brown things too. But my issue is that like with wood tones, I really don't like a lot of darker wood tones. Like
Mm,
for me, wood tones have to be like pine or like
mm,
an actual like we're talking about a really neutral brown. They cannot be reddish brown. I really do not like wood
mm.
tones that are reddish brown. Ugh. So we generally just stick to like if our headboard and stuff is just white. Same with our dressers. You know, I just I can't deal with mismatching things. You know this.
Yeah.
You know that I can't deal with things if they're mismatched. Everything has to be the same tone. That's why it takes me so long to build in The Sims.
Yeah.
I'm like, all of the woods have to be the same tone of wood.
Right.
They don't have to be the exact
I
same
haven't done
color.
a lot of building, and have the new swatches helped with that?
Yes,
Good.
I definitely would say that. But there aren't enough. So they added a bunch of swatches to base game windows. And I
Hmm.
was really hoping they would add more. They would add more like plain colors, but
Hmm.
they didn't. It drives me insane. But
Of
it is
course.
it is what it is. It I just
Uh,
some of the base game swatches are just so wild. And yet I was building last night. I was doing a updating a kitchen for my sim whose favorite colors are pink and orange. So I wanted to have her appliances were orange, so I wanted to give her pink
mhm.
counters. There are no pink counters in this game that aren't fuchsia. Or the other one is in the country kitchen kit.
Yeah, it's
It
like,
has those pink, but they're like
hmm,
weathered,
yeah.
which isn't the vibe.
Hmm. I made a witch's house
Ooh,
most recently, and I was like trying to make it basic so that I can eventually build off of it, and I put it in one of the lots in the new place.
Ciudad Enamorada?
Yeah, that one. Um and I made it like purple.
I love it.
Everything purple. Using that like I okay, almost everything. I mean, I used that like that snake skin uh uh wall
Yep.
in purple, and then I also, for the bathroom that's right next to it, I used the like dark green blue. It's like a dark teal
Yeah.
snake skin as well. I was like, ooh, yes. Highly recommend those for a witch's place.
Yeah. I also just made a witch, but I wanted to play with the paranormal kit pack.
Mm.
Again, because I haven't in so long. I never play with haunted houses.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I might as well just make her a witch because that kind of goes with the theme. It is so broken.
Yeah.
It is so broken. It's like, ooh, I can't with it. It's so like half the time. By the time you get to the little ghost to talk to them, they like just
Hmm.
stop like existing. They disappear. I'm like, what? Ooh, it's so stupid. But
Yeah.
you know, she keeps offering them bits of her soul because they don't like any of the things she makes. I also have her going into gemology, so she's like making her own stuff. So I was
Yep.
able to. There is a specific gem that you can use, and when you charge it up, it gives you the same. It gives you like the brave trait basically, so you're not afraid of these things. And so anytime like the haunting starts, I just have her like throw on the throw on her ring or whatever it is. I think it's a ring. I can't remember. Might be a bracelet.
Nice.
Um, because then she's not just terrified the whole time.
You know,
But I'm
see,
really
since I hadn't
excited.
played with like the gem stuff much,
Oh yeah,
and I decided my witch was gonna be doing that as well. Um, and so I'm like playing with it and finding everything that I'm having her make can only be charged up for like romantic interactions, and I'm like, what? What? Every single one of these? What?
that's interesting. I am going to say the most OP thing in the entire game is if you um do like cut a gem of plumbite. Plumbite
Mm,
fills your needs slowly over time. I
nice.
use that now for university. If I have a sim going to university, I just have them find plumbite. Um, Sometimes you can buy it in the magic realm. Um,
Nice.
but it is so OP. Um, because they can just stay up all night and stuff. They don't have to worry about sleeping. They don't have to worry about eating, talking to people. No need to socialize.
Who needs that?
Yeah. Oh my god. It's also great for rags to riches stuff
Yeah.
because again, you don't have to worry about sleeping or
Just be like working hard for that money all the time.
well, it means like, oh, I'm just going to paint for 2 days straight.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Working hard for the money all the time.
Yeah. But my sim, who I'm doing the Reaper rewards stuff with,
Hmm.
is the pink and orange one. And she's also a bro. So I just built her a sports bar to hang out in.
Delightful.
Yeah, I love making challenges like that for myself. Like I'm going to build a sports bar, but they don't have they don't we don't have pool tables still in The
I know.
Sims. Drives me insane.
Like we got boards, but
Yeah,
that's ow.
yeah. I added one of those into the sports bar and a foosball table
Yeah.
from Discover University. Wait, no, it's that's ping pong table. I think the foosball table's from
Foosball
Get
table
Together.
is hangout. Yeah, get
Yeah,
together, that's it. Like I don't know, that thing where you're hanging out.
yeah,
Hanging out.
just hanging out.
Hanging out with the family, having ourselves a party.
Sure.
Shout out to Birdemic.
Okay.
Never seen Birdemic.
No.
It is an absolute horrible movie, but I love it because it's just adorably terrible.
That's good.
Yeah.
Things have to be like a certain level of terrible to be bearable.
I definitely recommend if anybody wants to watch it to start with watching it through Riff Tracks, which are for those who don't know, the guys who did MST3K.
Yeah.
Um they they're still working. They're still fun and they're funny. And so yeah, so Riff Tracks they've done a lot of that guy I want to say James Wynn is his name. John Wynn? I don't know.
Hmm.
Anyway, but they've done some of those movies and he has a couple of things. For one thing, he doesn't know how humans walk. And so he has a lot of long shots on his characters just walking. And the way he instructs them to walk is not like normal people.
Of
And I've
course.
seen interviews with actresses who have worked with him, so it's like these are his instructions.
I see.
He never cuts like sound together right, and his version of dating is like this weird romantic montage
I see.
of walking and pointing and laughing.
Oh, okay.
it's it's lovely.
My favorite activities to do on a date.
Absolutely. And they're usually involving by the beach
Oh, of
because
course.
that is where the kids go,
Yeah,
right? Yes. And driving a very nice car, which is very clearly his car, and usually being pulled out of what is very clearly his driveway. Um One time in a movie of his called Replicant or Replicate, something like that, um the main character's uh fiance or whatever pulled out of that driveway and got hit and died. But it's okay because she was cloned
oh,
the
okay, of
entirety of the
course.
movie. Um it's
Perfect.
not weird at all.
No,
Not at all.
definitely not. Wow. I've been watching a lot of it's really funny. Old Vine stars. So Drew Gooden and Danny Gonzalez are two. They're very big on YouTube and everything, which is very nice for them. Drew
Yeah.
Gooden being the road work ahead. I sure
I
hope it
sure hope it
does.
does.
Yeah, that you know, that's Drew Gooden, and
Yeah.
he does lots of. Both of them do lots of like. I found a great terrible movie, and then they just do a video going through it, and I think that is just the best way to experience bad movies because I don't have to watch every single minute of the bad movie. Just the stuff that they think is funny enough to show me.
Yeah.
Um, so I love that. But also, Drew Gooden recently, not recently, I recently watched it. He put it, the video was like 2 years old. Um, he did
So
a
relatively
video.
recently.
Yeah, he did a video that, as I was watching it, I realized was just, it was completely structured like a fucking academic paper. He literally gave us like a background, his introduction of being like, yes, I in the past did an experiment. So this is the priors did an experiment where I cut out all of the laugh tracks on a
Yeah.
Friends episode to see how long the episode ended up actually being without the laugh track. And he's like, but now that I realized that I did that, it wasn't very, like, a very good generalizable, well, he didn't say generalizable, but I am, like, experiment. I need to, like, try different things. It was biased. So I've taken 6 shows, 3 of them with laugh tracks. These are all comedies. 3 of them with laugh tracks, 3 of them without. And I measured the jokes per minute for each of these things. And then he goes on and talks about how he selected them, how he selected the episodes, because he picked 3 episodes per thing. So I'm like, okay, we're into the method section. Um, we're into the method section. So then talking about how he selected the episodes for each of the shows. Then he went on to talk about his criteria for a joke. And I was just like, then he went on to talk about the numbers, so just the results, not talking about any like discussion. He talks about the results, about all of these different things, the stats, how many jokes per minute, like how. Then he went on to the discussion section where he talked about like how I was like, I literally commented on it, even though it's a 2-year-old video, being like, I'm obsessed with how you structured this like an academic paper. You could get this published. Like like
He
this.
did on YouTube.
Yeah. Peer reviewed. I reviewed it. It's accepted. The Journal of Rissa.
Right. Yeah, actually those are some of my favorite types of videos on YouTube these days are like just essentially video essays that
But
are
like
like
what
and then
can be
like they
called a
can
video
literally
essay?
be structured what?
I think that video essay can mean like 2 different. I'm just gonna move myself in my chair and it's gonna be loud, so give me a second. Okay. I think that a lot of things can be called video essays that in my opinion aren't essays, but they are long videos. They're not a real essay, you know what I mean?
See, and I am not even talking about the ones that it's just long videos. I definitely,
I
definitely, I have to
yeah.
categorize actual essays. For example, there was this one, um, implicitly pretentious has done a bunch of breakdowns about like themes in Marvel movies, for example. Those are
Yeah.
those are some of the best ones because especially since he breaks them down into it's like oh and here's we look at Wanda Maximoff as seen through her trauma and it's just he does such great stuff. I've watched some of his stuff in a while, but I did love it when I was watching them. But yeah, no, it's all like breakdowns of psychology or of like um we watched this one where it's been breaking down every episode of it did every episode of Breaking Bad, and then Better Call Saul, and how it's really great, and just like breaking down, okay, this is what it sets up, and this is what these are the color schemes that Vince Gilligan uses to I've been really enjoying, like, it's just a lot of film theory, like, not God, I hate saying film theory because then it sounds like theory crafting.
No.
Hi, I'm Matt Pat. Um, but
You mean theory in the actual
I mean
definition of
theory,
theory?
yeah, where it's like it's color theory and
Yeah.
shot construction and like stuff like that. I've also really enjoyed some very unhinged breakdowns of Rings of Power episodes. Because holy shit, is that a shit show.
Yeah.
And people who have been breaking it down have been losing their goddamn minds.
Yeah.
I have watched this one guy go from he's very quiet and measured in all of his things, and then he's gonna well, fucking this, and it's like, oh god, he's lost it. Oh,
Who are
yep, he's
you?
gone.
Who's that?
I can't remember what a random internet guy.
Hmm.
His language can be problematic. He definitely uses the R word, but
Ooh.
but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
I would say my favorite like video essayists that are actually like they structure them like real essays. I would say that Alexandra Avila is really good at that. He
yeah.
literally he started his YouTube as it was Are They Gay, where he just went through and doing that stuff as like a teenager
Alright.
is where
Yeah.
he started that, and now he like does full breakdowns, analyzing things from different through like different lenses. Like his degree, he graduated university a couple years ago with a degree in sociology, so like he really goes into things. He did a really great examination of capitalism through Hannah Montana. He also
Okay.
did a great video that one of my favorite is TikTok made me gay. I mean, not gay. TikTok made me autistic. And it goes through the whole thing talking about self-diagnosis, talking about like the history of these things, talking about the history of
Mhm.
autism in general, and then he goes and he gets diagnosed as autistic, like actually medically assessed and
Mhm.
stuff like that. And he's like, there, I did it. But is this more legitimate than me saying it? You know, is this somehow making me more like officially autistic than what I was before when I'm the same person? And like going through it that lens. And it's really cool. I really enjoy his stuff. I also really enjoy Rowan Ellis. She does a lot of really interesting videos with that kind of like looking at things through different lenses.
Mhm.
And I think like she did one on specifically on like um, she did a video recently on sapphic pop, and just the rise in sapphic music and stuff like that, and then talking specifically about Chapel Roan and a lot of her music, and going into like the themes in the music and analyzing the songs and the lyrics and stuff like that. And I thought that was really cool. I love that stuff. Um, but then on the other end of it, for video essay, that I still enjoy these, but I don't think they're actual essays. They're more like like a documentary. I think that's the thing. Some of these things are more documentaries. Jenny Nicholson, her like Star Wars video, the Galaxy's Galactic Star
The,
Cruiser.
Jesus, that fucking 4.5 hour
Oh
video,
yeah,
yes.
I've
That
watched
I've
it
watched
twice.
multiple times.
Yes.
Well,
I also am now one of her patrons,
oh nice.
so I get
So the next
her.
time she puts out a video, we'll
Well, I mean,
we'll
you
see you
know,
in that long screen of quiet.
I mean, no, for me, it's mostly that I get her backer videos
Yeah.
because she puts them out more often, and they're
Mhm.
usually like 2 hours. an hour
She
or
was the only
two.
person I was really reading when I was on X still.
Yeah.
That's how I found out about her bed bugs
Oh God. Ugh.
tribulations. Yeah.
Oof. Yeah, she's talked about that in her Patreon videos now. Ugh. She did that great she did that big video on Evermore, the theme park,
Yes.
and then she did two separate videos. One, she went back, so she went a second time, and
Oh,
that was
really?
one backer video where she detailed that, and then another backer video called The Ghost of Evermore. So now that Evermore is like actually finished, she went
Uh-huh.
through, and it's like a 3 hour video just on Patreon. I'm
Jesus.
like,
So
ma'am,
that's what she's doing. I
yes,
so frequently Fiance Mesh will just be like, "Where's Jenny?
just
Where is
she
she? Is she
has
okay?"
she is not okay because of the bug bed shit.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, yeah, she puts out her every month. She puts out a ramble video on Patreon, and you only have to be
Nice.
$5 to get the ramble videos. So I definitely recommend it. Like, honestly, if you're spending $5 on our Patreon, it's more
Head on
worth
over to
to
Jenny
just
Nichols.
it's more worth just you know, not trying to discourage people from giving us money,
But
but
also, it's
also
like
we don't do
that's
very much, and I think it would be incredibly valid for people to that's part of why I'm doing this, because I don't know if I said it on stream. I think it was just pre-show. Um where this is going to be stream it, immediately take it, unpublish the video, so no one will have access to this VOD. Then I will download it,
I'll
um,
definitely do stuff for sure.
edit it as a video, and put it out just for patrons. Um, and then after maybe a week, maybe just I don't know how many days, I'll have to figure it out. I will then put it up on the main channel so that we can have that. So other people can also watch it. I will not be uploading it to Spotify or anything like that because I don't want to have to deal with setting up another fucking podcast.
Nah.
It's irritating. I'm gonna move again, so I just know that it's loud.
I don't know about the chat, but I can't hear it, so.
That's good. But so that's the plan for this series. And I also want to bring on other like streamers and stuff and interview them in a way and just kind of chat and craft with them.
Yeah.
I don't know how often I'll do this. Maybe once a month, maybe twice a month. I'll see. I'll see how it goes.
Your own Conan O'Brien needs a friend.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I mostly was inspired by Weekenders, is Dodger and Jesse Cox.
I
They just have
see.
a weekly podcast where they catch up with each other. And most of the time they have a guest on. And I thought, wow, that'd be a lot of fun to do with people.
Yeah.
And then I've been watching a lot of crafting YouTubers, crafting vloggers and stuff. And so I figured that would be a lot of fun to add that in because, whatever keeps me interested is where I'm at.
Yeah.
And it gives me something to do while I'm crafting because otherwise I just sit there watching YouTube for hours while knocking out sweater.
Yeah, that's usually what I do. We just have YouTube going.
Yeah. As I said, I've been going back through the backlog of Danny Gonzalez and Drew Gooden, for the most part.
Yeah.
Because thankfully, they ended up not being complete pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Crazy how that sometimes works out.
Yeah. Of the Vine people that I still like follow,
Yeah.
Prosy D, fantastic. He just does great stuff. He has a Let's Play channel where he just they put things up daily. I'm
Nice.
like, okay. Sadly, they keep playing games with zombies in them, so I keep having to be like, peace out, y'all. Um,
I'm sorry.
I don't know what it is with zombies. I don't know. I just cannot.
Mm.
Zombies and cannibalism. Yet so the only thing media I've ever really been able to like deal with cannibalism is Yellow Jackets, and that's interesting because that's very
Very
graphic.
interesting. Yeah.
But I think it's because like I care about the characters enough.
Yeah.
I guess there's a mystery element to it that I think um keeps me interested. So what have you been watching recently, sister?
Um, well, let's see. We've been doing a lot of rewatches, honestly. Um, Although now that Abbott Elementary is back, we're watching those week to week, and same with Only Murders in the Building. And really enjoying this season. It's got us good. Um, but yeah, we've been doing rewatches of like what was it we were doing for a long time, and then we finished it because we caught up. What was it? Anyway, I don't know, probably something Australian. We usually end up watching Australian stuff. Um, but currently we're rewatching Bob's Burgers. Um in season 5, I believe, and we just realized that the episode we're watching currently is like almost 10 years old. And we're like, Jesus Christ.
Um,
It predates our relationship by like a month.
yeah,
So it's like, geez. But yeah, we've been doing some comfort rewatching.
yeah.
And oh yeah, and since there's been the new announcement, we've been rewatching less comfort. Um uh Invincible, because they've announced that season 3 is going to come back in January.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, they did a whole little like teaser for it where it was definitely they took take a real scene and broke into it with real life. Like, look, you had how long to deal with this? And yeah, sure, there was the strike. That only lasted what, 4 months? Walton Goggins, love him, and Stephen Yoon and J.K. Simmons and God, everybody on that
That's a
show.
killer cast.
A fantastic cast. Sandra Oh plays the mom. She's fantastic, and I love everybody who's in it, especially since a lot of them are people who were not voice actors at first,
Yeah.
and I'm really happy to see them getting into it. Like, I always forget the actor's name, but like um, he played Michael Weston in Burn Notice. Um, and he was anyway, he I'm really glad to see him settling into like voice acting work because he's really enjoying the hell out of that. And then also, um, I really loved him in season 2 of Fargo.
Hmm.
He just like settled into this absolute piece of shit Midwesterner ugh, my favorite role I've ever seen him in. He's got a comb over, fucking fantastic. We should rewatch Fargo. This is definitely Fargo season.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you, sister?
Honestly, the only thing I watch that's like current is Taskmaster.
Okay.
So, uh, this season they have a lot of really really funny people on. But obviously, most Americans don't know these comedians, and that's okay. Rosie
Yeah.
Jones is my favorite. She has cerebral palsy, and
Hmm.
they had to obviously change a lot of the tasks in the series to make them accessible to her. Um, but there was a studio task they were doing. And she comes up to it. They're having to they're using a slingshot to throw to send up one of those little parachute army men to try and get them down. And she walks up to it and she goes, "Okay, I'm gonna say what we're all thinking. I'm gonna be shit at this." And then she proceeds to get all the way till it's just two of them left, and the other person she was up against, she looks at him and she goes, "So just, just remember that if you win this, you are going to be eating a poor disabled woman. Can you live with that?" And then he did.
And then he did. Like, you know what? I can live
But
with
it was
this.
so
Yes.
close though. Like his little parachute guy was so just barely closer to the target than hers. So it was really a close, a tense one. It so much fun. I really enjoy Taskmaster,
Yeah.
but you know, the New Zealand version is also really good. Very different dynamic. Very different dynamic. um,
I'm sure.
yeah, yeah. But what else have I been watching? I rewatched Over the Garden Wall as per
Oh,
usual.
yeah. That's on our list.
Um, and I really haven't been watching very much recently. That's not just random YouTube
Yeah. We tend to go back to
because
the YouTube too.
we don't have any streaming services right now other than technically Amazon Prime, but I don't really watch anything on there.
You also have a login for my Hulu account.
It stopped working.
What?
I don't know why, but it did. So we were just like, "Oh, it's not working. I'll totally ask Ariana about it." And then I never did
Did I
because I have
change the
ADHD.
password?
Oh, maybe. I don't
Maybe.
know. But it's fine. Just we canceled Netflix and we canceled Disney Plus because they just were far too expensive and I just couldn't care.
Yeah.
There's nothing on there that I care enough about. Like I'm not going to keep Disney Plus just because I want to watch Fantasia. Like,
I'm wishing we had it back already because like we're gonna get it back. It's just been a rough year because insurance cut into my paycheck and we've been
ugh.
struggling to find a job for a fiance
Yeah.
meister.
Yep.
Um, and so, streaming services, fine. Fuck that.
Yep.
Um, but of course, now Agatha All Along has been on Disney Plus, and
Yeah.
it is the gayest Marvel show there ever was, and we're missing it. And I am devastated because it's just such a great cast, and it's my favorite parts of the storylines. I'm just like, ugh, I have to settle for watching people watch it.
Or now this is going to be a crazy, crazy um suggestion. One, two, three movies. Go the way we used to watch Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I mean,
Uh,
actually, totally. We only support um all of these shows in completely legal manners and legitimate ways of watching.
totally.
I would never pirate anything in my life.
Well, we used to like find things. Like that's honestly how we watched a lot of Marvel movies for a while
Yeah.
because
So you weren't
like
going to go into theaters.
well, and not even recently. Like this was like when we were still living in San Diego even.
Yeah.
Like we didn't go see
It's expensive.
uh Thor Ragnarok
Mm-hmm.
because I was worried it would suck. Um, but we watched it on a service. Um, but what was I saying? Shit. I really wish that they'd get my ADHD medicine in.
I'm sorry,
Um,
sister.
yeah. Work was difficult today.
I can imagine.
Especially since
That
I'm the
tickles
only
me.
one who works on Saturdays.
Yeah.
What was I saying?
Mm,
Oh, but we don't really we used to like do things that way because that I had that carrying over from, just before. Um and then we haven't really had cause to do it, and so really the only thing we watch illegitimately, quote unquote, is this single Red Letter Media episode that was struck down from YouTube. I highly recommend anyone find fucking Diamond Fox versus Black Diamond versus the White Fox. White Fox Cobra. Shit.
I'm checking how much longer I want the sleeve to be. Okay. I'm at,
Nice.
let's just kind of,
Got it at like a half sleeve.
yeah, so far. So I'm just gonna, I'm going to measure from the armpit down. So I want the sleeve to be 18 inches, but a bunch of parts of that are gonna be ribbing. So let's try and aim for 16 inches. Then I do 2 inches of ribbing. Okay, so 16 inches. That's what the sleeve is going to be. 16 inches.
16 inches. That's easy to remember.
Yeah, it is easy to remember. 16.
Mm-hmm. For
Um,
horse.
exactly. I was telling Ariana, uh, we were writing notes because Tortal Sisters isn't gone. It's just in hibernation. It just takes a lot of effort for us.
It does.
But I was talking about how I was like, I want to take the even chapters because even numbers, you understand.
I get it. I do.
But yeah, so soft and warm. Can't wait for this to be done. That's the thing about the sleeves. You get to the sleeves, and it's just like Sock Island. You're like, I want this to be done now. I want it to be ready. Ugh. Want it to be completed. Oof.
This is all I got so far.
I mean, that's quite a bit you've had done. What? Don't look so sad.
I don't know if this is gonna fit him.
Eh,
I'll just.
remember,
Oh no, it'll be fine. Yeah, that'll
blocking
that'll be snug on his toesies.
blocking
Yeah.
works a wonder as well.
Yeah.
Just makes things feel so much better. Just fit better, all that stuff. That's why, while this is a little tighter than I would normally make something, I know that I'm going to block it, and because it has the alpaca, when you block alpaca, it generally um it doesn't have the kind of like shrink back that wool
Mm-hmm.
does. So once you've stretched it out, it doesn't shrink back as much as you would. So you kind of have to take that into account when you're doing it. So if you try and crochet or knit something with alpaca that's like, you're like, oh, I want this to be a slouchy fit, and you're like, I'm gonna size up. Don't size up.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. But, also, I'm not going off of a pattern for this. I'm just winging it.
Yeah. I almost brought on this thing that I'm working on, but I didn't want to try to explain that basically it's either going to be a sweater or a blanket. That's just going to depend on how I feel about it.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a go with the flow thing that um I've got random like weird stitches going on in it, and I'm like, okay, I'm enjoying this. It'll either be a very happy blanket or a very happy around the house sweater.
Yeah. Gotta have the go with the flow. Oh, I need to show
Yeah.
y'all. Give me a sec. For my spinning, it's this. It's alpaca.
Ooh.
It's an alpaca mohair mix blend. It's really, really pretty. Um, sorry, merino, not mohair. I don't know why I said mohair.
Okay. I was like,
Um,
oh, okay.
but that, and I sampled it up, and it looks so pretty.
That is really pretty.
And I
I like that a
was,
lot.
it's like also really fine. Um, which like that's how fine it is. See that? That's like sock
Eee.
weight yarn.
Nice.
Um, and I think I'm gonna have enough to do a sweater scarf, which is why your story about the blanket sweater reminded me.
Gotcha.
So I already have this much of it done, and I've barely
Yay.
even scratched the surface on how much uh how much fiber I have. Like I still have this much to spin up.
Ooh,
That's quite a bit.
it is.
The other thing I'm working on spinning is this bamboo. Yeah,
Pretty.
it's also really, really fine. I'm spinning it on my support spindle. Where's the bowl? There it is. I have this little bowl that I have in my lap, and I just spin it like that, and it goes really
Nice.
fast. I, of course, as you can tell, made this myself. It's made out of Sculpey, and then I put resin, UV resin in here, so it has a nice smooth. Um, so it has very little
Is it like
friction.
flowery patterned? I can't really
Yes,
tell.
it is.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys can see it if I put it this close, maybe.
Let me make
Yeah.
my screen all big so I can see it too.
Oh, for
Ooh,
you.
pretty.
I don't
No,
know
no,
if you'll see it.
I was showing it on I was looking at it on the stream. It's
Okay.
fine.
So it's a daisy. A little
Yay.
daisy. And then I made this out of a bamboo skewer, and I sharpened the edges. And then this is Sculpey for the whirl.
Nice.
And I also coated that in UV resin, so that's why it just spins, and it just keeps spinning, and it just keeps spinning. It's beautiful. It's so much fun. But the lap spindle is great for when I'm just like wanting to do something and not care as much, because when you're doing the support spindle, you're not having to worry about the gravity pulling on the fiber. So with doing the
Much more
bamboo,
even.
well, mostly it's like I don't have to worry about, because bamboo as a fiber, because it's rayon, it's rayonized bamboo, right? It doesn't have an actual like crimp to it like wool does. Um, so it doesn't like catch itself. It's not curly. So it's very, very slippy, because it's just straight fibers. So using a drop spindle with it, it can break a lot, because with the gravity, it's adding that kind of thing onto it. But when it's the support spindle, it doesn't have to worry about gravity. So that's
For
my.
whatever reason, every time you're saying gravity, it's bringing me to the Sarah Bareilles song, and it's my brain won't stop.
I get that. But I'm very happy with this. this purple
Yeah.
stuff. It's so
Very nice.
soft, and I'm so like happy with it. And it just makes me feel so proud of what I'm doing because it's just so fine and even. Because this spindle is so nice. I got it off of Etsy actually, but
Yeah.
it weighs an ounce. So, and it has this ring structure to it so that it is like evenly distributed. So it spins really fast and it spins really long. So it's really cool like that. I appreciate it. Um, but then I got really embarrassed at the meeting because I started using this first before I was working on the crochet, and I dropped the drop spindle. And I do not drop my drop spindle, like, ever. I've done it a few times, but
Mm-hmm.
I did it in front of all those people, and I felt really, really embarrassed about it. So I then started crocheting and buying a huge bag of fiber that's bigger than my head. So yeah, I think that's about as long as I can stay sitting up in this chair. I should have been using my
Samesies.
chair instead, but oh well. It's the end of the show. So yeah, I would usually ask if I was gonna have a person on with me.
Yeah.
I would ask them like, where can they find you? But like, our audience knows where to find you.
Y'all know where to find me.
Not on Twitter.
Not on Twitter
We
slash
both,
X.
yep. We
Yeah.
deleted our Twitter, the Krolmeister sister Twitter, and the Tortal sister Twitter. So
And
you
I
want
deleted
to,
the only reason I have my personal one still was because it related to the Krolmeister stuff, so I
yep.
was like, okay, it's gone.
So yeah, that's that. Anything else you want to say?
No.
Okay, bye.